Unresolved Problem segment tonight, debating Jessica's Law. Right now, states of Texas and Montana are trying to get tough mandatory prison terms mandated for predators who rape children. But the Houston Chronicle and the Dallas Morning News oppose Jessica's Law. The Chronicle editorializing, quote, 2 years ago, talk show host Bill O'Reilly told Governor Rick Perry the Texas laws weren't tough enough. He told Perry that Texas should join a half dozen other states that have added the death penalty and the 25-year minimum sentence. Well, as anyone who watches this program knows, I oppose the death penalty, so the Chronicle is not stating the truth. Stripping away all the nonsense, many liberals, like the editorial board at the Houston Chronicle, simply want child abusers to be rehabilitated. The Chronicle's Get Tough policy protecting kids includes counseling and neighborhood watch groups. Absurd. Joining us now from Houston is the Mayor Pro Tem of that city, Michael Berry, is also heard on KPRC Radio, the home of the Radio Factor. Okay, now, the only reason, and by the way, it's not a half dozen states, it's 40 states that have Jessica's Law. A half dozen have the death penalty. And the Houston Chronicle very dishonestly slipped the death penalty thing into the Jessica's Law scenario. Now, I'm against the death penalty. Everybody knows that. Houston Chronicle would know it if it had any sense of honesty at all, which it doesn't. What the Houston Chronicle wants is not to have the judges handcuffed by a mandatory law. They want discretion, and that's what we're fighting against, Mr. Berry. Are we wrong?
Well, no, you're not necessarily wrong. Bill, you've put me in a precarious situation as a big fan of your show of having to defend the Chronicle because it's a relatively liberal paper and I'm a fellow conservative with you.
I'm not a conservative, though. That's a misnomer. I am independent.
Well, there you go.
Go ahead.
But let me just say I oppose the mandatory minimums, and I think that you'll find a lot of prosecutors. In Harris County, we're as law and order as they get. We put more people to death. We're very focused on law and order. But the thought among prosecutors, and I spoke to some today, is that you're actually going to lower your conviction rate. You're going to put fewer people away if this happens.
Okay, but I don't buy that. I don't believe it. I think it's harder for the prosecutors to bring a case in because there's no plea bargain on the table they can give. I agree with that. But the crimes are so heinous, and we have seen so many times, time after time after time, where judges let these people out on parole, on probation. They give them 2 years for child rape, this, that, and the other thing. And here it is. I think the prosecutors have to work these child predator cases very hard and bring them to the conclusion that the punishment fit the crime, sir. Right. And when you rape a child, it's got to be 25 and up. And it isn't in Texas right now.
Right. And let me tell you, we have a special case here in Houston, Harris County, because we have an all-Republican elected judiciary, and they're very conservative. So we don't have judges doing what you saw they did in Vermont.
I know, but in other parts of the state, it's not that way. You can go down to Starr County. In the South, you can go up to certain counties where you have crazy judges, and it's got to be uniform throughout the state. Harris County, we understand. Okay?
Well, but when you do that, Bill, when you do that, in most of these cases, the prosecutors tell me it's a family member or someone related to the family member, and if you have a mandatory 25 years, what you tend to do is you take those witnesses out of the case because they won't come forward.
You're telling me that a 7-year-old child is going to be concerned whether Uncle Fred gets 10 or 25 and isn't going to testify against Uncle Fred if it's 25 but will if it's 10? Bull. This is another excuse. I'm not buying it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's not an excuse. First of all, it's a minimum 5 right now. You get 5 to life. And on the second offense, once you become a repeat offender. But first of all, you lose the family member.
Why do you lose the family member? If the family member is raped by the Uncle Fred, the family member goes in and tells the truth. What?
Right,
you're telling me the 7-year-old is going to make a differential between 5 and 25?
Sure they are. Because that 7-year-old doesn't want their stepdad to go to jail. And that 7-year-old who told mom says, you know what, I don't want him to go away for 25 years.
No, but he can go away for 5? He can go away for 5, but he can't go away for 25? Does that make sense?
You're also using the worst case scenario, Bill. The case you're not talking about is the 13 and 17-year-old, which is still aggravated sexual assault.
Then that's a prosecutor. No, Mr. Berry, a prosecutor doesn't have to bring that case. He doesn't have to bring that case,
but it's technically a violation of the law.
It doesn't make any difference. You know the prosecutor has discretion. He can bring the cases he wants to bring.
25 years. But the whole point is, Bill, you start with the premise that you don't want prosecutors to have discretion.
No, I want them to have discretion.
We have good prosecutors.
Prosecutors have discretion. I don't want the judges to have it. And that's why when you rape a child, the judge can't say to the jury, yeah, he raped the kid, and I'm going to give him 6 months, like they do in Vermont.
Bill, you subscribe, I hope, to the theory of subsidiarity, where you push decisions down to the local community. And in the local community in Harris County, we trust our judges, we trust our juries.
I'm sorry.
Now,
In Harris County, that might be right. That's not all of Texas. And here's what I subscribe to. You rape a kid, you go away for 25. Period. Whether it's Uncle Fred or it's Devlin in Missouri. I got to go, Mr. Jerry. But we appreciate the conversation. Very good debate. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. One of our border guards convicted of